wait is over. After a week of anticipation, the new episode of Welcome to Derry titled The Black Spot has arrived. Get ready. Everything explodes in a whirlwind of chaos, fire, screams, and blood everywhere. Get your tissues out because one death will bring us to tears like never before. Pennywise returns, more macabre and unsettling than ever, ready for a gruesome feast.
The episode begins with a return to 1908. During a fair where Pennywise, the dancing clown, is presented for the first time. Children watch in fascination as he dances and performs for the audience. In the distance, a childlike figure silently observes the scene, hinting at the presence of a lurking, dark entity. After the show, Bob Gray retires to remove his makeup alongside his daughter, Ingrid, who admires his work and dreams of becoming a clown herself. During their talk, they remember Ingrid's mother, Periwinkle, and Bob confesses how much he misses the circus life, assuring her that one day he will return with a completely different act while his daughter listens tenderly. Later, transformed back into Pennywise, Bob is preparing for his nightly performance when he encounters an apparently lost boy. The child claims he cannot find his parents, and after noises coming from the woods, assures he hears his mother's voice. Taking the clown's hand, he ventures with him into the trees. It is then suggested that this child is a lure used by the creature to draw its victims into a deadly trap. Sometime later, Ingrid desperately begins searching for her father after noticing his unexpected absence. People murmur that something terrible may have happened in the woods, and a devastating piece of evidence soon appears: Pennywise's handkerchief, completely covered in blood. Upon seeing it, Ingrid understands the possible loss of her father and is overwhelmed by grief. In the present, the story moves to the Black Spot Club, where a group of armed and masked men violently bursts in looking for Hank. They threaten everyone present and recognize Norma Price, criticizing her for being there. Although military authorities try to stop the situation, Hank decides to surrender to avoid a confrontation. However, the attackers only pretend to retreat peacefully. Once outside the building, they seal all the exits, throw Molotov cocktails, and shoot through the windows. Inside the club, absolute chaos erupts. Fire spreads, smoke invades every corner, and people die trying to escape. In the midst of the horror, Hallorann begins to suffer disturbing visions of the dead and the spirit of the warrior Seski, who once pursued the entity. Determined to save the survivors, he tries to open an escape route by breaking the rotted floor beneath a refrigerator. Meanwhile, within the inferno of flames, Pennywise appears dancing macabrely, tricks a woman named Noreen by promising her an exit, and devours her in front of Ronnie's terrified eyes. Hallorann manages to rescue her, but the clown also appears before him, mocking him, while charred corpses emerge as a terrifying vision. Guided by Seski, Hallorann pushes on to locate the trapped children. Some manage to escape, but March is trapped along with Rich. Aware of the situation, Rich forces the young woman to hide in a refrigerator, knowing only she can fit. Through a farewell loaded with memories and confessions of love, Rich sacrifices himself by closing the door, resigning himself to death to save her. Outside the Black Spot, Stan attempts to leave when he is intercepted by Periwinkle, dressed as a clown. Shortly after, Pennywise appears behind him and brutally murders him. It is then revealed that Ingrid had caused the entire tragedy, knowing that fear, violence, and blood would draw the monster back, all in the hope of reuniting with her father. Pennywise appears before Ingrid, praises her for her plan, and announces that he will return to sleep after having awakened. However, Ingrid slowly realizes that the creature before her is not really Bob Gray. Pennywise confesses to having devoured her father, claiming his spirit lives within him. Desperate, Ingrid begins to lose her mind as the clown reveals the deadlights, definitively plunging her into madness. Hours later, firefighters rescue Marge alive from the refrigerator. Upon exiting, she contemplates the devastated remains of the place until she finds Rich's lifeless body. She breaks down in tears and embraces him as Ronnie arrives and shares her pain. Ingrid is transported on a stretcher, completely distraught. All the survivors remain shattered by the massacre. Subsequently, Hallorann remains disturbed by visions, while Hank and Charlotte look for ways to escape Derry with external help. However, new warnings emerge when Daniel appears, alerting them to major problems. Concurrently, at the military base, Makelone tries to prevent an ancient pillar from being thrown into the lava, uncovering a conspiracy. The true plan is not to cage the monster, but to use it as a weapon of terror. Officer Shaw claims that fear is the only way to control a fractured nation, justifying the death of innocents as mere collateral damage. Despite Makelone's opposition, the pillar is released, allowing Pennywise to fully awaken. Makelone is detained and removed. Finally, Will receives a call from Ronnie, but the voice soon transforms into the clowns, cruelly mocking Rich's death. In that instant, Pennywise appears before Will and opens his gigantic mouth, displaying the deadlights, trapping him in his hypnotic power. Thus concludes the episode, with Pennywise completely awake and the terror returning to once again take hold of Derry.